And of course, it won't let me, hopefully it'll let me see the chat. Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good evening. 7:03 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, October 24th, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in already. Wow, there's a lot of people in here already. Omar, welcome in. And I'm only going to pull my phone out to see the comments I missed. Ellis, Kiana, welcome. Omar, Bitcoin at 37 in front of my eyes. Ellis, what a time randomly opened the charts. Yes, crypto. I'll tell you guys what's going on. Big news coming across today with the SEC. Moza here, welcome in. The Gatman, crypto. Donald Shoup, welcome in. JW, good afternoon, my friend. Terry, always good to see you, love. Welcome in. XRP2, crypto. Nick, Matt, Michael, Infamous, Crypto Solo, Scrooge, Prosperity Fund. Is it a short squeeze or bull run? We're about to talk about this right in the flesh, everybody. Infamous, thank you so much. And thank you for the congratulations on the season. I'll get into that as well. I know what you're talking about. Jeffrey, Marvin, Jorge, welcome in. Prosperity Fund, John Hall, Ales Pond, Roger, Chris Bruns, holy smogolis, Jordan English, Mitchell, Tirana, Tanya, love, welcome in as well. Holy a mother of God, what was this all about? Well, I'll show you a big part of what this was all about. DeFi Jedi, and as we can see, Bitcoin's up 3,230 right now, up 10.9%. We've got XRP up about 4.85%. We're doing exactly what we want to do on the close. I talked about it earlier. We'll get into all of this. Boosted, welcome. And the one who said, congratulations, my football team I was coaching. We made a championship run. As you know, the season, it wasn't going to end well because of what, I'm not going to get into the semantics, but I taught my team good character and yada yada, even in face of what we had to deal with a team that was obviously cheating and doing a bunch of stuff. So we won our playoff game, our first one, 9-0, made it to the championship, and obviously we got smoked by this team, but I don't want to go into the details. The good thing is my team showed good behavior. Got a runner-up medal that I showed everybody, so it was a good season. But what's going on in the market and why we had this big pump is the SEC was forced. So Bitcoin ETF battle, Grayscale secures court order against SEC. So the move, which is merely a formality, comes after the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, decided not to appeal the August court ruling. As a result of the court's mandate, the SEC is now required to review its prior rejection of Grayscale's bid, which aimed to transition its existing trust into a Bitcoin-based ETF. So the court stance challenged SEC's earlier position. Back in August, Judge Naomi Rao deemed the SEC's denial arbitrary and I can't say it, highlighting the regulatory body inconsistency in approving other similar financial products. But some of the way it's looking at this, so U.S. court issues mandate for Grayscale, ruling paving way for SEC to review spot Bitcoin ETF. So basically, the SEC is forced to review this Bitcoin ETF. So I think this is going to happen sooner than they want you to believe. And what have we been talking about? The fact that it's BlackRock. Don't look any farther than that. This is eventually going to get passed. It has to. It has to. If you know anything about BlackRock, and that's why I keep saying as well, this is the accumulation phase. I'm not willing to risk the fact that XRP is going to go back to 35 cents or sub 20. I took it as the accumulation phase. And everybody who's been watching, we're doing this in a proper way this time. So I keep saying, when everybody tells you to sell and to wait and to get out, it's the time you should be getting in, and you should be accumulating over the last year, not listening to all these schlubs, all these fudsters. It's a good time to be buying when we were. And now look what happened. Nobody could predict that XRP, that the SEC was going to say, well, they called our bullshit one too many times. And you know what? I'll read that in a sec. But you know what? We're not going after Bradley Garlinghouse and Christian A. Larson. We sure as hell aren't going to go after him now that Bradley Garlinghouse hired the assistant district attorney, or the former assistant district attorney out of the Southern District of New York, the same district that filed the lawsuit. Not to mention that they said that they were going to put the Hinman stuff right on center stage, and they were going to subpoena some, so there was no way they were going to go after that. No way. So once that happened, it was big news. What's really going on now is basically the SEC is forced to review the Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock, and you know how that's going to end. All roads lead to acceptance here. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust has been listed on the DTCC Depository Trust. Thank you so much, Tennessee. This is spinning real quickly here, ladies and gentlemen. And the other Tanya Nuttall, welcome in. My birthday sister. Same birthday, which is fastly approaching. Just I'm a little bit older. So, but that's what's going on hardcore. And if we can see Bitcoin, we talked about the technical target. Who was in here? Was anybody in here yesterday when we talked about this exact move? Like, I don't make the predictions on the news. We just talked about in the community that some big news was going to come out. Did we not yesterday? And we said the charts are predicting what's about to happen. We had a move that was coming up to 34,000 we talked about yesterday. And we said the charts are predicting something big to happen. So when things like this happen on a day-to-day basis, I always tell everybody, when there's no... Holy shit. Is there really 124 people here already? Here I am thinking I'm talking to just 50 people. That's fine. Make sure to hit the like button, though. Don't insult me. 42 likes, 124 people watching. You know, I might have to slap myself in the face if that doesn't get a little bit higher. You know, but anyhow, we talked about how we thought this was going to come up here because it's part of a broadening wedge. We broke back into the broadening wedge. And what have we talked about? The broadening wedge only needs 2 hits on support and resistance. And I feel like a broken record when I talk about it to confirm the pattern. Resistance 1, support 1, resistance 2, support, no. Support 1 right here. Sorry, it's kind of dark and it's making my glasses glare on the light right now. Support 1, resistance 1, support 2, resistance 2. This confirmed us a broadening wedge. So when it broke down, these were the targets on a breakdown, break up. It broke down, filled it out perfectly. Like, that doesn't always happen where it comes to the exact measurement, but it did. It bounced off that exact point. It came down a tiny bit lower, but that was the measured move out of a breakdown. Broke down, then it came back up. First layer bounced on the broadening wedge. See how it hit here? This right here on this uptrending resistance, this used to be support. It goes farther back for several years, and now we got back on top of it. But the point is, when we held the broadening wedge, we said as long as we hold this and we start breaking up unilaterally, the next major move is going to be up here, and we called for it. We talked about it, I swear. Go back into the database, and we said how this could turn into a big inverted head and shoulders here, and then what happens if it breaks out? You never get into an area where you're like, oh, I can just mark them. Man, it feels so surreal right now, because even everything this community talks about, not just me, but we see in the comments, we've talked about how 2023 is a tricky year to be buying, selling, especially with tax ramifications in the USA. But it's how easily manipulated the market is right now. A donation. OMC, wow, thank you so much for the $10 donation. Thanks for being consistent with the info. Bad or good, just real news. Exactly. That's what I do. That's what I always say as well. When there's not as many people in here, it's fine by me, because what I am is I'm a voice of consistency, but I always show the truth. I tell you exactly what's going to happen, not by me making a prediction. And that's what I want to warn everybody. If you're new in here and you're one of the 126, but you're new, I don't make chart predictions. I make predictions based on the pattern setup. So we knew if it broke down from here, we had a technical move down to here where it would have to fall at the bottom of the pattern down near 21,000 or 22,000 area. But because it held here, we knew if it could break back over the broadening wedge, our big move here would be back up here to 34,000. And that's exactly what's happened. It's exactly what's happened. But now everybody's going to say, well, what needs to happen here? First layer with Bitcoin, what are we looking at? Well, first layer for Bitcoin, you're looking at it. We need to somehow come up and hold the 33,939. So 33,940, we need to hold this area. And then ultimately, we can finish this move off from earlier in the pattern, just like we had the dump down. That is still going to be in play if we break out up here, except because we went down and widened the pattern. You could look at it as we just widened the pattern, or like I like to look at, yeah, you widened the pattern, but you went down for liquidity. That means the targeted move on a breakout and hold would get you all the way up here at 37,863. So which one is it? Hey, XRP Stu, thank you so much for the $10 donation. You guys are so generous. I will be honest, you know, I've been working for, I don't want to say free because I still get ad revenue and the ones who join Tom's Army, but not a very many donations, you know, but I think when the charts are going down, that's what happens. I have to be honest. You know, I have to, hey, this isn't a profitable business when the charts are going down, and it's not supposed to be. But you get more people that pay it forward when they have the resources, and when it goes up, you have the resources. I get that. I get that. So what we're looking for is 33,940 area. Tom is the chart wizard. Thank you, Ernie. And Ernie, I'm sad to say I'm out of honey. By the way, what you do, you're a genius. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, that's Bitcoin. But let's look at XRP here. Yes, Big C, I love that. The chart whisper. Wow, Solo up almost 30%. And anybody was buying with us, right? With Solo during the accumulation phase. I know we only got 4,000 Solo and 4,000 Corium, approximately, a little bit over on both. But we bought them for a reason. So at least we have 4,000 a piece. Yes, we ran out of time. But this is what happens. So yeah, Solo's up 28% right now. But we'll get into that after. But XRP's up to over 29 billion now. Man, is it skyrocketed in the market cap. But right now what we're looking for XRP, don't be alarmed till we have the first layer breakout. It's going to finish off an 8.8% move off of this breakout that we were projecting earlier today. And now you need to confirm this by a hold and a close over 536. So what we're looking for right now is a close over 536 in 46 minutes from now. So in 46 minutes, everybody wants to know what needs to happen for continuation. A daily close over 536 would be ideal. Some would say 538. I say shenanigans. I'd rather see the 536 that's lower, because then on a retrace. So that's what I'm looking at. So 536, and that's important, right? Remember the bear flag, bull flag? And we've talked about how many days and weeks and months do we have to talk about this. Don't get confused though, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to show you why. Don't get confused here that this is a pattern breakout here. What is this? What is this? And what is this? And no, it is not the nuts, you know, the fortuitous grotesque sack. Okay? That's not what this is. It looks like it, and you know, it is what it is. And no, it is not a sunglasses in disguise. It could be a head and shoulders pattern if it got rejected at yes, thank you, Crypto Solo Scrooge. It could be a head and shoulders pattern if it were to get rejected at that 57-cent technical target. Okay, that's all I'm trying to get at here. The fact that's the technical target, and where did we come up here? Just over 56.5. So I mean, it's lining up for, you know, this could be a technical head and shoulders, and we're on this giant bear flag. But remember, the bear flag disguised within this, or the bull flag disguised in a bigger bear flag. So we had both charts set up. I don't know where the top part of the pattern went, but it is there. I must have deleted it just now. But it was a bull flag, bear flag setup. Oh no, that's fine. This is fine. And then it broke up to the next layer. Now it's breaking out. That's fine. But that's what happened. We had a bull flag snuck in there. And we had every scenario for you to see here day by day, or I did for everybody to see day by day, just so we could see this playing out. And now it played out beautifully. Now you need to come up next layer. You need to hold 536 for a breakout to confirm it. Then you'd need to come over 57 cents and hold, so that this wouldn't be a head and shoulder, so you can start playing up. And the reason why that's so important is, one, with the market cap, we're going to come up to some resistance up here at 30.8 billion here, and also 32.3. So now that we're back in the rising channel, right? That's what I'm saying. It all meets for a reason when it starts working. But you have to do the short term as well. That's why we have it built within. Is it anything more than the pattern just continuing on? No. So if it plays true to the top side, you could be looking at a possible move up to 37 billion. You know, so what does that mean for XRP? Well, if you're coming back to 37 billion, you're sure as hell probably going to come up to the rising channel. Right? Rising channel. So 37 billion would probably line up with 63 cents on the XRP price. So where are we going next? Well, if we get a daily close over the 53.6, and then we ultimately tomorrow can close over 57 cents, roughly, we're probably coming up to 62.5 cents. So, but that's what I'm thinking. Do I sound like an asshole, or I'm sorry, excuse my French. Do I sound like I know what I'm talking about, or do I sound like I'm blowing smoke? I'm always generally understanding, and I always want to know. Wow, 169 people. You know, I'm generally Not shocked too often, but I am shocked. Art wasn't your best son. Tanya, you couldn't have said a more truthful statement if you tried. I'm telling you for a fact. That is so dead on. And I'll get back to that in a sec. MC Prosperity, thank you for the $20 donation. Keep the good vibes coming, Tom. Yes, there's one thing you can count on, except for my 3-day lapse, a couple weeks ago. You can always count on good vibes. Yes, I had a 3-day period where I came outside of an out-of-body experience, I feel like. But you all know why. But Tanya, it was not my strong suit. In fact, in 3rd grade, my art teacher, and this is not a joke, and this teacher did get in trouble. I believe fired. I don't know. I progressed it out of memory. I think fired, because we had a new teacher. She was trying to teach me how to draw, and I couldn't even draw good stick figures. I say it's not always my fault, because I can't really see out of my left eye. Well, I can't see out of my left eye except blur. I have keratoconus. But she hit me with the ruler. I have a scar on my left wrist from it. So I thought that was pretty inappropriate. But, I can understand. I can't draw, and she was probably pissed. She's like, you can't draw a stick figure? Like, it's a stick figure. We're not trying to have you do anything important here. Just a stick figure, son. Please draw this or I'm going to get fired. And it was probably the most basic of things they had to teach a 3rd grader. And I'm over here trying to draw a stick figure and it looks like Squiggly McWillie. And she probably was like, I'm going to get fired. This guy's single-handedly going to get me fired. And, I understand. Is short squeeze over, now full bull run? Prosperity Fund for $4.99. This is what I'm trying to show everybody. It's in layers. So the 538 level, I'm trying to show you even on this setup right here. We need to break out of this structure and hold. So, okay, 538 for this particular one that I just built. But we need to close over these levels. So a close over 538 and 538, okay? A close over 538 is what we're looking for right now. It goes in motions. So if we get a close over 538, we've now trended to the right side of town here. And it's not exactly on a full, we're not even on, we can't even talk about a full run bull run. Let's get our attention on the right focus here. This is the short term. This short term only happened because we're bearish. These little moves right now are not going to get the gas tank filled up here. You're not going to get that flame you're looking for ignition. What we need right now for this to fully start here, before you can even say, oh my God, we're starting a full-blown bull market, first, to reverse our short-term fortunes and get out of this death cross in the daily, first of all, and get back into the golden cross in the weekly like we're on still. As I've stated a billion times, it has not been invalidated. We need to get back over 63 cents. Once we get over 63 cents, the full bull market is not even on yet. But we can start talking about the fact that maybe, just maybe, we've intercepted, right, a longer bear market here. So then what we would have to do if we regain 63.5 cents or 63 cents, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but in the all-time pattern, we need to come all the way up over here and retake 85.9 cents by the time we get up here. And I project it wouldn't be until sometime late December if we come up in that fashion. So what are we going to do? Unless we play it out true and it goes until July of 24, which I don't want that. We need to play it by level. So first, 53.8. Second, 57 cents. Third, 63 cents, and you can be off to 85. That's how it would play out. A lot of resistance in between. The reason why 85 would be on deck for me after that 63, if you can hold it, cup and handle would be beautifully. Already came down. One could say that you made a very wide bullish handle here. Got a bunch of liquidity, especially if it pulls up and holds. That would be an ultra bullish pattern. I'm just saying this would be ultra bullish if we got on top of 85 cents. And then we just might be able to fill that move to $1.13. So for me to even say that we're starting for a mini bull run, get me on top of 85 cents and hold. Then we can talk about the move to $1.13. Anything short, actually, I'm sorry, the move to 90 cents. But hypothetically, the move to $1.13, when you get on top of there, you're going to have a nice technical move up. Because it's going to involve some nice big flagpole setup. So that, Charlie, no way it's going to, no. You got to listen to what I'm saying. I'm not going to rehash what I'm saying. But no, that's not what I'm saying. You guys can clearly see what I just said. It's already kicked in. The weekly golden cross is already kicked in. You had the measured move here. That was the kick in. Now you have to see if it was for real or a fake out. That's why it's important to consolidate like this. So we consolidated perfectly. What I was thinking was we could still come down to the 2020 uptrend, but as I've said, it's not guaranteed. You don't need to come down there. Sheena, thank you so much, love, Sheena, for tuning in and being so excited to see me live. I'm just as excited to see you when I am live. We have 97 people who liked it, 151. We need to do better on the likes, please. If you appreciate my work, unless you just want to send a donation, I understand you don't want to hit the like button if you're coming out of your hard-earned money. So if you don't want to hit the like button, you can always send a YouTube super chat or join Tom's Army. I'd love to see people joining Tom's Army. But really, it is super important for me to get those likes. You have no idea how the YouTube algorithm works. It's a pain in the ass. I don't have a marketing budget because guess what? I do no paid promotions, advertisements, or sponsorships of any kind. I don't have a paywall for my content. There is no incentive to pay for anything except to pay it forward, which is how I want it because I believe in what I do. So that's what we're looking for. Does everybody understand that? Good, good, good. XLM is at 11.5. We have foretold this move as well. First resistance we talked about coming up, and now we're on an inverted hammer. That's a beautiful pattern setup. Does anybody know what the inverted hammer is? If you want to validate this or tell me I'm full of maneuver, you can tell me. But this is a beautiful inverted hammer here. Maybe it comes down a little bit farther. That's beautiful. That should help us move up to this major resistance up here at about 12 cents. You get on top of that, then we can start talking up to 14 possibly. But we need to get back on top of there. So if you're a fan of XLM, that's a beautiful inverted hammer in the weekly and in the daily. Oh, baby. A lot of inverted hammers here on the way up. It looks fantastic. Oh, yeah, this should definitely give XLM a nice pump here. We got XDC here almost at 5 cents now. Up 7.8%. As you know, we bought it at a beautiful, crisp, pristine, what was it, about 2.6? I told everybody that's not a bad price. It's not a bad price. That's a massive bull flag too here. Well, massive consolidation. If this breaks out, let's put it this way. We've got a massive target if this were to break out. It's got a bunch of layers that I have on there right now that it needs to break. Although, this is actually not accurate. Because you can actually officially eliminate some of these levels now that it came back down. This was speculation before it came down. I don't need to speculate anymore, just like I don't need to speculate on these until I see the return move. So I don't like to speculate. I just like to see where the wicks end up at. So it was pretty close. It's pretty close. But XDC is in the middle of a little bit of a channel here. It's a descending, or I guess you could call it a descending wedge. Just got to fill this out. I don't like to fill it all in all the time because I can see what I'm looking for. Sometimes because this broke down here, you could say it came down into a falling channel, which is probably more accurate, which means it's going to have to come up to, what is this? The 5-1 area. So that's where XDC is on its way up to. So if you're watching, and then just the other one I wanted to look at real quick is H-bar, because Tanya's in here at 519. H-bar is well on its way here for a nice move. This major W reversal, if it can fill out the technical target, Tanya, we talked about on the update yesterday that I snuck in, and now you see it playing off perfectly what we talked about. It should have a nice move here to about 575. If it gets on top of there, this is what you'd be looking for. So let's just say it comes down here, and let's just say it bounces around. It's bouncing around. Now all of a sudden what you're going to want to see, so it's going to maybe come up here. You're going to want to see some kind of a consolidation. We're talking about the eventual move here. And then you're going to want to see a nice consolidation hold and try to come up here. And then in a bullish scenario, you're going to want to see it come up like that. And then you're going to want to see the next layer retest. Otherwise, if it doesn't do something like this, you're looking at a possible correction because then it would hit underneath. And this is what would end up happening. I'll show you the devil's advocate here. Let's just say it bounces here, comes here. Now you're looking at it all of a sudden, you'd have a retest probably breaking back down. So that's what we're looking at for the more bullish scenario. If we're going to be bullish here in the short term on H-bar, you're going to want to follow something similar to this. And this isn't going to be 100% accurate, but that's something you'd want to follow in a step formation. That's how you could have this bullish W reversal. But I tell you this very well, you could base this on the fact maybe overextending here, having something like this on the 200-day, depending on where it's at. And this is why I don't like to make predictions, because which ones is it even wrong if it even does this? But then you might have an overextended bounce, and then it could do something like that, and then play it, you know, you could play something out like that. And maybe that's the way it could go as well. So that could be something we're looking at. But that's what it looks like, honestly. This is what it looks like to me. I just like to show what I'm thinking. So we'll keep both of these scenarios on here. These are the bullish routes. These are the two bullish scenarios. One gets there a little faster. One I kind of like more. Because then you play out the proper bull flag breakout. You step it up. But we'll see which way it does it. Anything short of that, the bearish scenario, yeah, we can have fun with the bullish scenario. The bearish scenario would probably be something like this for the bears. And then it would probably just break down in an M formation. So that's probably how it would play out. Yeah, that's probably how it would play out. So, whoops, took off that last part. But just pay attention to that. Actually, it would probably come up to here. Yep. I hit the wrong spot. And then it would probably break down. And then depending on how much collateral damage they wanted, they could come back up to the 200-day and then just bring you back down here. So basically, watch that. Those are the three scenarios. That is the true three scenarios on how this could play out, honestly. I mean, you could come down a little bit lower on the 200-day and use that as the first resistance, but you get the picture. I'm thinking this is going to play out more bullish than bearish, though. Just on the setup I'm seeing, so yeah, I'll keep that up there. So, and then finally DGB up 8.5%. Remember what was the target we've been talking about that DGB was coming up to? Does anybody remember the number? 747. Still stands. DGB is just filling out the normal rotation here. We've had this chart up here for a while. It's just filling out the rotation. We need a breakout. We need to get above 747 and hold and start pushing up towards that 989. I don't talk a lot about DGB right now, but I do own 72,222 tokens under 006, which I thought was phenomenal buys on average. So, yeah, we're in great territory here. And then the only thing else I wanted to show, and then I'll go back to XRP, is the fact, because we bought together as a group, we bought over 4,000 solo on Winning Wednesdays. We've had a chance to buy over 4,000. And the only reason we've been doing it, not just because it's on the ledger, but because the total circulating supply is about 500 million. You know, ever. So now it's up over 34%. These are the kind of moves I've been talking about. That's why we said we're going to buy this rotation out. And unfortunately, it finished out now. I don't know where the bottom of this formation went. But you get the picture. It finally filled out here. And we were buying that whole rotation. I'm just going to delete it. But you understand what I'm saying. We were buying the whole rotation. It finally broke out, though. So that's what I didn't want. And now we know the technical breakout point. It could run us all the way back up here. And that's a substantial move. Up to about 18.3. And we've been talking about this. This is no surprise to us. And these are still bearish moves. That's what everybody needs to understand. Until you get to the top side of these breakdowns, still bearish. And Corium, same thing. Circulating supply about, what, 400 million at the end of the day? Maybe a little bit more. Or maybe closer to 500. So, this is still more in the consolidatory mode. But it still broke outside of our box we've been buying in. But we managed to collect just over 4,000 Corium. I thought we did a great job. If I have to live with 4,000 Corium in solo, beautiful. We got just about 7,800 algo during that time as well. We didn't quite get to our goals of 10,000, but I'll live with it. We got 10,000 H-bar. You know, we got 70,000 plus DGB. We've got a bunch of different things. 10,000 Casper, 10,000 Flare we got at 008 for whatever, for anybody who was watching a couple days ago. So we've got a lot of stuff set up. And we just bought these things. We've got Zill. We've got VeChain. We've got XLM, XRP, XDC. I don't think there's going to be anybody with a more diverse portfolio, especially when you look at our holdings with precious metals. All the profits this community makes, if you listen to what I say, instead of turning it into the US dollar, if you feel the need to sell out, buy yourself some beautiful silver. Get some metals in your hand and see what real money is. Understand that currency is nothing more than paper money. You can wipe your ass with it. Real money, that's where it's at. You become your own central bank. You don't need to rely on the banks. Then you pay your house off. You don't have an interest to pay. Then you have that equity. You don't need cash. You have a $250,000 house paid off. You've got 250 grand in equity waiting there that you can pour into whenever the hell you want. That's just extra money on the sidelines. Who needs cash? You need metals. You need to understand how to invest so you can pay your house off. So you have that added liquidity so that we can have our own central bank. We don't want to rely on the banks. We want to be our own bank. This next chapter is going to suck balls. But for some of us, it's going to be bliss. It's just going to suck because everybody we know is going to be broke. Even the ones that thought they were wealthy are going to be broke in the transitioning time. That's the problem. That's the big... But remember, if you're in the position where you're able to acquire now and you're seeing this, it's your job and duty to hold your families up. You didn't ask for that responsibility, but you've been given it. And I want to see selfish people out there. Remember, at the end of the day, I do this for free. So, except for the generosity from most of you. Well, not... Okay. When I say most of you, I have 18,600 subscribers. I know I've got donations from about... In the life cycle of my channel, because it shows different people, it's getting closer to about 300 different people that have donated. But if you put it in the grand scheme, 300 out of 18,600, a lot of people are getting a free entry. And there's nothing wrong with that because I'm doing my due diligence because I make a living off of what I do, not off of YouTube. But I've managed to pay my house off. And yes, it's been paid. I just paid it off. I showed some of you the proof, a couple weeks ago. I just took out a 30-year loan last year. So, but I had everything working up, and me and Julie decided with how everything's going up that it was in our best interest to just get rid of all of our extra funds, and not all of it, but most of it, that we've acquired, and go this route. Yeah. But, you know, we've had stuff building up, and, you know, I'm blessed right now. That's why I say I'm not going to charge people for my content. I'm not. Do I think it's worth more than I get? You better fucking believe it. But do I think it's worth anything if no one's seeing it? No. But I do think all of you are worth it. So, you know, we all need to get it somehow. Yes, Crypto Poppy, this is live. This is live, my friend. So XRP right now, we're still looking for the daily close. We got 24 minutes. Remember, 24 minutes. We're looking for our first layer close at 538. If we get this close over 538, this is the shakeout before the close. Remember that. Now everybody's going to say, oh my God, XRP was dumping at the close. You know, it drives me nuts. Actually, it doesn't. It makes you understand where most people's head is. But what we're looking at is we're looking for layered closes here, ladies and gentlemen. We need, the first layer was to get up over, back out of the bear flags, right? Back into the bull flag part of the setup, and we needed to be back over here. We got back over. Now we need to close over the top of this entire setup to be on the bullish side of town, which is 538. This is before this entire bear flag, bull flag setup formed. So now that we're back up here and we avoided this falling channel scenario any longer than we had to, now we can try to have this first layer breakout. First layer to second layer would be 538, would be the close, the impetus. That would be the importance right now. We need to close over 538 because it closes over this in the daily. That's very important if you're going to try to confirm a breakout attempt. Anything less than that's a wick. If this closes before 538, I'm going to say, son of a bitch. Death Cross is still hammering us down. But if we continue to do this, we'll start to invalidate the Death Cross. And then you see what happens. We start to break up. And then and only then are we back online with the weekly Golden Cross. The weekly Golden Cross is intact, but it's still not in play until this invalidates itself. So what I'm saying is we need to break and hold 57 cents. But first layer is here. Second layer breakup will be at 57 cents if we can hold. And then the third tier breakout, which would be a short-term pattern reversal confirmation, is if you break and hold 63 cents, which is the rising channel that started in June of 2022. I'm not lying, and I can prove it. I actually have all of the things I talk about charted out, just in case you ask me like you just have to prove myself. So the rising channel started back here on the rising resistance, but on the rising support, it was back in June of 22 approximately, and now we've played out appropriately. We haven't broke it. And the reason why when we were doing the accumulation phase with XRP, we were so comfortable in buying it, and as it always does, it deleted one of my charts. We'll see which one it is. And as it usually works out, it is the one that I was going to reference right now. How awesome is that? But we're not going to get mad at TradingView because we already know it sucks. But not intentionally. We can't help it. They don't do it on purpose. They just do it. That's what I say. So they deleted my Bitstamp chart. Thank you very much. But you know, when you're a true professional, you know what all your stuff is. You memorize it because you hear every single day. So I like to do things live a lot more than I don't, because I like people to see what actually goes into what I do. Hey, Rob, thank you so much for joining Tom's Army. What a true classy individual you are. You've seen my time is worth something. You said, you know what? I don't feel right about not being in Tom's Army. And you know what? I know you're month 1 in Tom's Army because that's me being abducted by alien. That's right. That's the TFAM badge. That's the month 1 badge of you being a part of Tom's Army. So you get to see me being abducted by aliens. And that is my face superimposed on that abduction. So that man in that helmet is actually me. Somebody I met through social media, she made it for me because she appreciated my work. And there it is, my month 1 badge. So why I thought, and you guys can tell me what you think. I think we have a little bit of an audience. 141 people here. Okay. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As I've always stated before in the past, even when there's not a lot of people in here, I will always be the voice of consistency. So when something happens, you know I'm going to be here. If nothing happens, you know I'm going to be here with the boring shit. That's just how it has to be. If you're a true professional, you have to be here in the good and bad. And the bad is good. Are you kidding? That's the accumulation phase. My portfolio today, and all of yours should be around the same if you've done what I've done. We started with 3,500 in XRP, 3,460 on 10,000 shares. If you're doing it on the minimum basis that we talk about. In between everything else, we probably got about 5,000 to 5,500 of our own money invested now between everything. Today, my portfolio is at 10,800. So even with the bear market, even with everything else, we're still more than double. I mean, I don't know who else you could ask for in a bear market if you're up 130%. Are you happy? No, I'm not happy. I'm fucking ecstatic. Are you kidding? Tell me where I can go put my money for a year. Which it's money when it's in crypto, because it can be do what can you do with crypto like metals, gold, silver, like real money? What can you do that makes it money? Not just that it's a store value, because it's a piss poor store value, because it's too volatile. What it is a good hedge against inflation, because you know, with crypto, when it's going down, no, that's not the right word. The hedge against inflation, scrap that. That's more for metals. What it is good for is the fact, you know, that you can use it in America, you can use it in Canada, you can use it in British Columbia, you can use it in Nicaragua. I can go to fucking India and I can go cash it out for their native currency. It's money. I can use it anywhere. It's also good for speculative funds that you think are going to be a store of value, but instead of just putting all 100%, if you need to start a store of value and you're like, well, I'm going to start it in a speculative fund, fine. I'm not going to fight you on it. But every time you have profits that you deem necessary to cash out and you say, hey, I'm so smart, I'm going to sell out and buy in 50% cheaper, fantastic. So when you buy in 50% cheaper, instead of buying 50% more, buy 10% more and put 40% in metals. Then you have a store of value. So even if crypto is going up and down, your gold, your silver in relation, especially in your USA, I'm basing it on the USA, your store of value is going up and you're hedging against the US dollar. Now, my friends, and only then are you learning how to be a true investor. Anything else is bullshit. I don't care what anybody else says. If your bottom line isn't to sell out XRP to go back into the US dollar, but you're telling me you need to sell for profits, you're full of shit. You need to put it into metals. Actually, you're not full of BS. I apologize for the swearing, because you might have kids by you. I'm not saying you're full of manure. What I am saying for is you're illogical, because you're going to keep putting it into a speculative asset that the only reason you sold it is because you didn't think it was going to keep going up. But now because it got a little cheaper, you're just going to reinvest? I don't know. That doesn't seem, unless it's at the end of a bull market. I don't like the swing trading narrative. I don't like the futures trading narrative, because it makes you not understand the short narrative of a pattern. Whenever I futures trade, I look at whatever fits my agenda the most. I lose sight of my accumulation. I draw this comparison every time. It's just like if you are a porn addict, and I'm not singling anybody out, but if you look at too much porn when you're with your partner, your senses aren't going to go to the same arousal, and then you're not going to have the same stimulation. That's just the way, I apologize, but that's the way it goes. So if you are doing the futures trading and you're stimulated by the 50% moves in 10 minutes, you're not going to understand the accumulation mover, where that it's even good that it's going down 15% and you can start accumulating where you're supposed to. Or that we're in the middle of a bear market, and swing trading, is one of the easiest ways to lose your stack. Do you know how many people sold out of XRP and told me I'm buying it at 30 cents? Do you know how many people had a short out that thought that they were dead on, which they were for 95% of this move? Until the uncertainty of two things happened. One, the SEC said, oh shit, you know what? We're out of moves here. And they said, we're not going after Brad Garlinghouse and Christian A. Larson's, essentially waving the white flag, because now institutional investors are back on board. Retail's fine. Everything's fine now. So it's one of those things. And then now the SEC being forced to examine right now the Bitcoin ETF approval. They've been forced now by the courts. I wonder who had a hard part in that. Well, understanding that BlackRock, it's their ETF that's been delayed. I wonder who do you think got elected because of BlackRock? Do you think maybe they're on the courts? You may think they're maybe these same judges, these same people that fought to have this overturned. Man, is it a hot baking cookie here to, that's what's going on now. That's why you want to be on the right side of history. Don't be on the wrong side. The wrong side's being in currency. You use your speculative currency, which for me is the US dollar, to put it into stuff like crypto, and understand where to put it in precious metals when the US dollar currency index is going out of freaking whack. Even now it's at 105.61, but again, are we surprised? No. I mean, we have the underneath target right now for a reason if this breaks, but I don't know what happened to the other one. You all know we had another one, but I don't think it's going to hold. But the 4 hourly is where we were talking about on the 200. Yeah, it's below it now. 105.70. That was supposed to be a marker so everybody could see. Not because it's going to hold it, but because if you get resisted here on the dollar, we've already shown we might be reversing now. I still think we could come to 109. Nobody says we have to once that rising channel breaks. And we lose the 200-day in the day, or in the 4 hourly. Your last hope would be to come down to 103.97 and hold the 200 in the daily. That's it. That's where we're at right now. That's where we're at right now. That 104 may be non-existent, but it's a stopping point. It's actually a little bit lower. I don't know how it ended up a little high. No, actually it was right on point. So that's where we're at with the DXY. And if that keeps coming down, what have I been saying since the beginning? DXY comes down, precious metals pump, risk assets, especially crypto, will move. Not necessarily the stock market, because what did we determine already? Stock market's in a very rough way right now. It's got a technical target if it loses 32,580 to come down to the broadening wedge. And remember, just like crypto, it broke out of a broadening wedge almost with Bitcoin right now. It's got back into it at least. This never lost the broadening wedge. So if it's doing this in a stepping stone, support, resistance, if it can hold this 32,580, it might swing back up. But if it loses it, it's going to come down to like 31,000 area. So it makes it very tricky. So like with the total crypto market cap, and I'm bouncing around a lot, I'm excited. I'm only excited because we've been talking about this move. And I said, when everybody's telling you to sell, when all the channels are telling you that it's bearish, you should be so excited. This is such a good accumulation stretch. And I forgot, we have Doge as well, but that's through Julie's account, because she bought it at 000, whatever the hell it was, multiple 5 zeros. Then I made her sell it on the Saturday night debacle because it got up so high. And then I promised her I'd buy it back, so I did. And I mean, anywhere between 5 and 6 cents, and I sent it back to her Robinhood because that's where she has it. I know Robinhood sucks, but that's where she has it. And she bought and I know it's gonna feel bad for some, like myself. She got a free stock when she first opened up, and it was valued at about $5. There's 3 free stocks. All 3 of them, because she never looked at them, went up to about $30. She put $30 into Doge and went up to like $1,000. She was one of those people. You better believe it. So then I made her sell it out so she could have her profits, and then I took it back, and I bought it back for like 500 of her profits. So she got to keep half of it, and I bought all of her shares and then some back, or tokens. She had about 10,000. Now she's getting closer to 11,000. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing when you understand the market, but you have to understand it, and you have to watch it day after day after day after day after day. And even when I don't talk about it day after day, I'm still looking at the same charts. I've been doing this on repeat since 2017, but mainly on repeat since I started doing this on YouTube in March of 2021 at the end, one of the last days of March, and I have not missed a single day on YouTube. That's not a joke. I don't take days off, others sick, or anything else. As you've seen, I had a major injury July 4th, which I am doing very well. Now look at my hands, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. As you guys know, I broke a couple fingers, probably broke the bone in my hand, and, you know, non-displaced fractures, so I know how to heal myself. But it's been since July 4th. But I've been back in the gym for 44 sessions now, you know, doing what I can do. Mind, body, and soul, after all. I got to stay in the right mind to do this. So, total crypto market cap. This pattern formation, it actually gets you up much higher than this, but we came up to our first tier now. We held the support. We knew we were going to come up to 1.21, but now we have a possible resistance at 1.296 trillion. That's what I'd be looking at solidly here, honestly. If we do hold 1.20, and that would be a nice daily close here for the total crypto market cap. Actually, it'd be a fantastic close. What am I talking about? Fantastic. If we close there. Miss Vicky, welcome in, love. Thank you so much for tuning in. I so love all the women in here. You have no idea. We have a very strong core here. The average station on YouTube, and you can look it up, is somewhere between 1.9 and 2.6% in this category. It's speculative, depending on where you look, is the ratio in the audience. My female audience, and we have 18,600 subscribers, is well over 10.6% now. So you figure it's 4 times the national average. You know, so I take great pride in that. I take great pride in that, because I believe everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're willing to learn, I don't hold barriers. I don't care who you are. I think you have the same ability as everybody else, and you have the same opportunity. You just have to use it. Right now, everybody who watches me has an opportunity. I do it for free. Nothing can sway me. The one thing people get nervous about, they say, well, Tom, what happens when all this stuff starts coming true? It's already coming true for me. Don't you realize? 5 years ago, I was living in a fucking trailer that our floor I was walking through. To pay my electric bill, I had to go in the negative. I was living in negativity, like the negative balance, just to live. That was 2017. Actually, it's been a little bit, it's been 6 years now. But that was 2017. That's when I started making the change. You know, it's only been 6 years. So if I could do that in 6 years, learning it on my own, imagine what you can do learning it from somebody who you're watching do it every day. The only difference between me now and somebody else being a millionaire is I'm showing you the steps while I'm doing it. Period. Huh? He woke up already? Oh, good. So it's just a small nap. That's what we wanted. So, Delvin, welcome in. It sure does, Miss Vicky. It sure does. It sure does. Wow. 155 people in here and 156 likes. Like, how am I supposed to say anything to that? I can't even say anything. That's incredible. A drone? Hey, there's a drone going over my house right now. Is it? No, it's actually a little farther down. Oh, yeah, it is. It's right over my house. What is this? Look at this, guys. We made it worldwide, ladies and gentlemen. Make it a little clearer. No. Look at that. A drone sitting right over my house. I'm telling you, everybody, It's an ever-growing popular show here. Everybody wants to be a part of it. They're even trying to come overhead. It's all fun, right? It's all fun. I don't know, man. I don't really like drones flying over my house with all this stuff going on, I'll be honest. They're probably like, what is that guy up to tonight? Like, what is he bitching about? That's what I'm saying, though. You guys are watching me from thousands of miles away, most of you. Some hundreds, some just miles. But my own neighbors couldn't give a shit of what I'm doing. See, they don't take advantage of even living next to me. They don't ask questions. They don't care. They don't even want to know why I never go to work. While they're all going to work, I'm sitting out on my standing on my front porch. Or why I'm up at 3:30 in the morning doing the exact same thing, and then I'm doing what they're doing when they're like. I wish people would ask questions. I used to ask questions. I used to bury cable lines. When I was younger, I was a personal trainer, broke my back, couldn't happen. And when I used to always ask that question, how is this guy staying home while I'm out here burying cable lines? I wasn't mad at them. I just wanted to know how they were doing it. Once you start figuring out some of the ways they do it, you use it. But right now in the 1 hourly, doesn't matter. I don't even care about the hourly, to be honest with you. I'm looking at the daily. Right now, Bitcoin, it closed underneath the first layer breakout. It is a beautiful inverted hammer right here. That's an inverted hammer like you very rarely see that big. Would you guys still classify this as an inverted hammer, or am I just being a little bit facetious here? I think that's a rather long inverted hammer. Aaron, thank you for the $10 donation. I greatly appreciate that. Wow, you're super generous. I'll read exactly what you said in a second. Into that, I'll smoke the cannabis. And it is legal in Michigan. Not federally, but it's legal. I mean, anybody can smoke it here. It's got to be 18, I believe. I think it's 18. Julie, is it 18 to smoke marijuana in the U.S. or in Michigan? Or is it 21? Like, I don't either. That's a good question. Aaron said, thanks for keeping us informed. Appreciate you, brother. Hey, no problem. No problem. Yeah, it's legal in the street where I live. I'm just outside. I mean, I'm not going to walk up to somebody and say I'm smoking a joint, but I'm going to be facetious about it. I'm going to be hidden, but yeah, I can just do it on my property. I do it when I'm walking home from the gym, too. I don't care. I'm just not going to be open about it. I just look like I'm smoking a cigarette, and I don't smoke cigarettes. A lot of people think who watch me that I smoke cigarettes because I don't always say I'm smoking. I don't smoke cigarettes. So every time you've ever seen me smoke, it's cannabis. But another thing I was trying to say, too, the house is paid off, right? So I may not be able to be like, oh, I have $1 million in the bank. But between some things, it's getting, we're getting a little bit not close. Still far away, actually. But at any given point, my house appraised at, what was it? $232,000 this year. So you figure that's, at any given time, I can dip into that that's the point. You build capital flow for yourself. So instead of me going to the bank, here's the point. Instead of me going to the bank and saying I need a loan for $100,000, I can just borrow against my own house. I don't want to do that, but let's just say you need a loan. I don't need to go to the bank for 7.3% right now over 30 years. I could just pay myself back. So I'm like, I don't have a 401k. I'm doing this the alternative way. I'm not working in an office. I'm not working for somebody who matches you on a 401k. So my 401k is literally my understanding of precious metals and what ends up happening with my crypto portfolio. I'm only going to be 40 in December. Some might consider that old, and many consider that young for the knowledge I have. The fact that I'm only going to be 40 in December, I'm looking at this 23 years from now. The hell with their retirement at 65. It might be 68 now in the USA. But I'm looking at this for me in 25 years, let's say. In 25 years, if I do this for 25 years, I won't have to do it that long. I believe by 2028, it's all going to be set and done. Precious metals, we're coming near the end of when you can do what I'm doing. It's got to be done when the ratio for silver especially is where it's at. If you wait too long, you wait too long. That's just, I can't help that. And some of you stuck around 145, that's more than some. I'm just trying to kill time right now to 8 o'clock. We've got to see if this daily close, which looks beautiful right now on this inverted hammer. Can somebody please tell me, am I being facetious here? Or are these really inverted hammers here that I'm seeing? We need to close over 538, and XRP looks beautiful. It looks beautiful. That's a beautiful close right now on every level. Some will say it sucks because it came to, it's beautiful. It is beautiful because it even holds you over the top part of this entire flag if you don't want to break it up into two. It's a beautiful, this is a confirmed breakout if you can hold it and start pushing up. And is it only beautiful up to, you know, 57 cents for the first move, which would cap off an 8.5% move from earlier? Sure. And then if you hold on that, it looks even beautiful again. And then you might push up to that 63 cents. And then if it can hold that, then I'm very happy. If you see us up at 63 cents and we can, here, I'll put it up here because it's on the other chart. But if you see us on top of this and we use it as support, I'm going to be very happy because then we're going to open the door for a massive rally. And all those 10,000 tokens we got at $3,460, which are right now worth 5,700 or 5,400 plus. So right now you're up, you know, over $2,000. I mean, that's nothing to stick your be mad about in a bear market. But if we can get up over here and hold, let's just say we hold this, you'd be opening the door for about a 35 to 40% pump. That's why I'm so excited about that level. That could start your mini bull run. Because then if you break that, then you could go and finish it off at $1.13 roughly. And then who knows? Who knows? Can I ask you all a question? Are we getting good news or bad news in 2023 right now? Has it been good or bad news? The media, YouTube, TikTok, social media, Twitter, the big business, they want you to think it's been bad news. Is it good or bad news? If you're watching here, has it been good or bad news? No. Guys, and I respect all of you so much, but this whole Black Swan event, you know, there's one thing I've been listening to since I started here that is a pet peeve of mine, the whole Black Swan thing. Does anybody understand the definition of a Black Swan? A Black Swan comes out of nowhere. Nobody knew it was coming. We were in the middle of something historic, and then all of a sudden, the worst news of all times came out, something we could not have possibly fathomed, and it went away. Like, you know, the one thing that nobody talks about that they probably should, maybe a little bit more, on social media, not the big timers like Peter Schiff or Gregory Mannarino or Robert Kiyosaki or Mike Maloney or any of those guys, but, you know, some of the ones you think they're bigger time who, you know, might be on the same level as me with XRP. I have no accolades. I'm not a Peter Schiff. I'm in the making, but I'm not a Peter Schiff. I've only been doing this a few years, but I don't claim to be. But don't you think maybe they should start talking about the fact that maybe the whole Black Swan event, maybe what it is a White Swan event and it was predictable the whole time, and that's the BRICS setup? And that's how they're going to get rid of the U.S. dollar. They've already said starting January 1, there's 8 countries in agreement right now. Yes, Saudi Arabia is part of it. Yes, India is in there. Yes, Brazil and China. I mean, the list goes on of the top countries that are a part of this. I could go on. I want somebody to actually do real work and say, well, who else? Africa. Russia. I'm sorry, I can't keep my mouth shut. But anyhow, you get the picture. So could the White Swan event be the U.S. dollar goes goodbye here in America and it goes and gets depreciated like you couldn't believe because starting January 1st, the BRICS agreement states, and I repeat, it states, and they had to sign this as part of the agreement, you cannot dump U.S. dollars or government bonds that are bought in U.S. dollar term or nominal terms, the U.S. government bonds, or buy your petrol with anything other than U.S. dollars until January 1, 2024. Now, why they would put that in there, the only thing I can think of is they're going to crash the markets, the U.S. markets, starting in the new year at some point. It doesn't mean it's January 1st. I'm just saying there's something bigger going on, and they're going to full scale go out to the petrodollar. And what Saudi Arabia said, which is why it was so important for them to join the BRICS, is they said, you can bring in your native currency, and we will value it in nominal terms to gold. So if you're buying oil, when you buy it, when you do it, we will, if you however you do this transfer, we'll put it in gold. So if you bring us 1,000 yuan, whatever that comes into for the petro, we'll do it in gold, in terms of gold. That's how it would be weighted instead of the US dollar. So once that happens, the US has done it one too many times using the US dollars as a form of punishment. Anytime you hear a sanction, you can't do that, because then you get the innocent ones like you and I that have nothing to do with the government bullshit, because that's all it is, shenanigans when they're controlled by a higher power, which are the central banks. Unity division, that's all it is. But once that happens, what happens to the dollar? I'll let you decide, but this is one hell of a historical melt up, like I've called for months and months and years now. When I first started on here, remember, the US dollar was around 94. Remember that. So I say, it's not a direct correlation to gold, because gold, when it was around 94, 95, got all the way up to almost 2 grand, and then it dumped as the dollar was going up. And now all it's done is reconsolidated and regain those losses. That's it. It repars the losses. Unlike crypto, which is still down in nominal terms from 2021, gold and silver's not. It's up. That's why when you say a store of value, if I bought XRP in 2021, I'd be fucking pissed if I didn't sell it. I bought at 47 cents on average, sold at $1.66. I'm happy. I bought back at $3.46. But if I used it as a store of value, I'm getting my ass kicked right now. Let's just put it that way. I'm up a little bit, but I didn't get to cash out the $12,000 in profit, put it in precious metals, buy back, and do everything we needed to do here, because my portfolio ballooned to 18,000, as you guys seen live on air. It was crazy. In 2 months, not even 6 weeks. On 3,500 roughly, because I only had like 7,800 tokens. I didn't even get to 10,000 because it exploded. So anyhow, that's what we're looking at here, everybody. Did we understand? We had to close over where we needed to go. It's been a beautiful hour and 2 minutes. A beautiful hour and 2 minutes. But the reason why I think the 2020 uptrend, for anybody who's here, is the place to be at and to buy. And that's why I thought it was a beautiful buy-in. Watch what happens here. Ready? And anywhere close to that, I thought was a spectacular buy. So you bought in on this run, right? It started this uptrend right here. Bounced off of 17 or 12 cents, came all the way up here to the 2021 top of the bull run. Came all the way back down to that uptrend we talked about. Held. Bounced back up. Held. It hasn't lost it. Held. So the fact it held here and started the rally tells me that that's the apex point where you're trying to get in. And then if it comes lower, that's fine. You position yourself at a good point to where every 20% down, you keep adding. But that is where your mile marker should be at the 2020 uptrend. That's just my personal observation. But that's what I personally believe. And I done everything I could to get there. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, everybody. It's cold out here. My voice is tired. I don't want to lose it. I thank everybody for tuning in. I thank everybody who sent a donation. The one person who joined Tom's Army. And if you do appreciate my work, don't hesitate to join Tom's Army. It does really pay it forward. It helps me out for what I do, as I do this in good faith that each and every one of you will return to good faith in time. It's beautiful to see that we had so many people in here tonight. 174 likes. That's spectacular. If you're watching this after, please hit that like button. Let's try to get the 300 likes on this video. I would love to see that. It'll get well over 1,000 views. This one will probably get closer to 1,500 or 2,000 views, just based on the immediate reaction. All the likes are going to help push this through, and you're going to see immediate difference. And so will I. If you're looking to trade XRP, your favorite crypto, make sure to look in the video description below. Add no or pinned comment. Actually, no. Video description below, because it's alive. You can join FEMX if you're in the USA, or MEXC worldwide. You can futures trade on there, or you can spot buy your XRP or your favorite crypto, but the lowest spot maker fees. Either way. If you're a worldwide user, I encourage you to use MEXC, lower spot fees. FEMX is the lowest spot maker fee we can get with no VPN. So just consider that. I appreciate each and every one of you. Bless me beyond belief. And I'll catch you later. I'm truly humbled and so appreciative of each and every one of you. Don't forget to give thanks to your Lord and Savior, and watch out for each other, because without each other, we are truly nothing. So our energies combine. So if I'm just doing this, talking to the wall, it doesn't mean nothing. But having so many of you here, it means